Good afternoon. I'm Al Kresta. I love doing this program, and I've done a program similar to this ever since the summer of 1987. And you come across many things in that time. Years ago, there were complaints raised about Girl Scouts, right? And it was uncomfortable having to discuss this topic then, because when we think when you think of Girl Scouts, you think sweet neighbors. You think of the cookies. You think of so many positive things, right? Well, look, Kathy Cleaver-Roos in the Washington Times has turned our attention back to some real problems that are going on with the Girl Scouts organization, and I think the leaders of the organization know that it's difficult for outsiders to say bad things about Girl Scouts, right? But let me go over some of this with you. I think it's worth saying, and I know that this is upsetting to a lot of people. But Kathy, who, by the way, is a friend, she's had to tell her sweet little neighbor in her brown camp uniform that, no, sorry, I can't buy Girl Scout cookies from you anymore because I've learned too much about the organizers, your organization's agenda, primarily their support for abortion and some kind of relationship with Planned Parenthood. Well, according to the Girl Scouts website, the lion's share of the money that comes from the cookies, the lion's share of that money goes not to the troops, not to the students themselves, not to the kids themselves, not to their projects, but it goes to bureaucrats up the chain of command in these multi-county councils. The national office gets a piece of the pie too, in the form of royalties based on gross sales volume, annual sales volume, about 200 million boxes per year. Now, I love the cookies. And I love the cuties, too, who sell them. But enough is enough. You're responsible for how you spend your resources, even in a matter like this. Kathy tells me a story that last year, Girl Scouts decided to admit boys who dress as girls. So they're asked to admit a cross-dressing 7-year-old. And the Colorado troop leader, said, well, no, we really can't admit your 7-year-old son into the Girl Scouts, even if he is wearing a dress. And then, as tactfully as possible, she said, your son can't be a Girl Scout because, he has, quote, boy parts. Guess what? The troop leader then was chastised by the mom as being insensitive and was promptly overruled by the Girl Scout top brass, who said in a statement, if a child, I'm reading here, if a child identifies as a girl and the child's family presents her as a girl, Girl Scouts of Colorado welcomes her as a Girl Scout. End quote. That's bizarre. 10 years ago, Girl Scouts Media Relations Officer Joshua Ackley was frontman for the homo punk band, the Dead Betties. In publicity shots, he's dressed in women's clothing, and in music videos, he appears naked and feigning self-abuse. The video for Elevator portrays a woman being strangled in an elevator shaft while Mr. Ackley flashes a menacing grin. Today, he's issuing press releases and posts news and views on the Girl Scouts blog and tries to mollify moms who are concerned about Girl Scout ties with Planned Parenthood. In fact, it was Mr. Ackley who facilitated the Girl Scouts No Adults Allowed workshop at the United Nations, the workshop in which the Planned Parenthood sex brochure, Healthy, Happy, and Hot, was offered. It's not a surprise, I guess, as she writes, that someone like Mr. Ackley was behind the Girl Scouts' recent scandal. A guidebook that tells girls to check with the leftist George Soros-funded Media Matters before believing what they read in the news. What do? what do you say about this? I'm not raising. I raised one girl. I've got 4 boys and 1 girl. Girl Scouts were not an issue for us because we had heard some things 20 years ago, and we decided not to associate with them. But it seems to have gotten considerably worse. Earlier this month, a young Girl Scout employee, Renice Rodriguez, made the mistake of stopping by the office to do extra work on her own time, but she was wearing a T-shirt that had the words, "Pray to End Abortion." Well, the supervisor there ordered her to turn the shirt inside out or leave the office. And she left. For good. So should we all. I hate to say it, but I tell you, the Girl Scouts, compare them to the Boy Scouts organization, they are worlds apart. They have no, as you may know, they have no formal affiliation with each other. Boy Scouts of America still retain the virtues, the identity, the mission that they once had. Girl Scouts have been, over the last 20 years, have been changing, and you may not be aware of it. But on May 5th of 2004, Girl Scout CEO Kathy Cloninger admits on NBC's The Today Show, "We partner with many organizations. We have relationships with Planned Parenthood organizations across the country." For 14 years, Girl Scouts in Waco, Texas, give you another little fact, co-sponsor a sex ed conference with Planned Parenthood. It's perfectly normal. It's a book written by Planned Parenthood executives. It's given to all girls in attendance. It says abortion can be a positive experience. That's, again, for 14 years. The Girl Scouts in Waco, Texas have been co-sponsoring a conference with Planned Parenthood, and that's what they hand out. In a national survey, 16 other Girl Scout councils admit to partnering with Planned Parenthood. So, if you're a parent, we'll have to do an open line segment on this. We'll have to do. Don't you think we should bring this up? I'd like to hear from parents about their experience with Girl Scout troops and the problems they may have had. So we'll do that. So we'll do a direct to my desk segment on this sometime.